It's important to understand the calibration types part of the calibration tree and how they differ. So the first one to look at is the items which are in green. Green means that they can basically be changed live when you're connected to the ECU. These are variables which don't need to be programmed in order to be changed. So you can change these live whenever connected and make adjustments, and then when you're finished calibrating at the end, obviously you need to program it for the items to be fully saved so they're not stored on the RAM of the ECU. Then what you've also got is the blue items. The blue items basically require you to program the ECU immediately after changing in order to take effect. These are generally quite like items like breakpoints, etc., which obviously affect many other calibrations. So it's important that those are obviously programmed, and this is just done by going to the device to program at the top here. If the engine is running, it will ask you to do it to stop the engine, because obviously it has to program the ECU, has to go offline and come back online for a second. Also, it's important to note, say if you are changing any of the green items live when connected to an ECU, all of a sudden your laptop crashes. It's like, oh damn, those changes aren't saved anymore. Do not worry, they are saved on the RAM of the ECU. So as long as the car is not turned off and on, when you next connect to Scal, those changes will be brought back into the calibration software and back to the point where you were, which is a really nice feature. Now, the best way to view these different types of calibrations, as you can see at the moment I've got the base fuel injection set up in a graphical view. I personally prefer that, and you can actually move around the graphical view by pressing the shift right and left buttons. I've just opened up a paint just to show those buttons there. So basically you can actually move around the graph. You can then, if the graph doesn't look kind of to scale, so say if I was to then just say half this by math multiplier, you can also always see that it auto scales and goes into that range. If you don't want that to actually see the actual pure scale, you can go to options and then turn off the auto scaling so you can actually see it as the values going to the highest breakpoints. So, but most people will just want to have the option scaling on, so it's OA and then it puts it back in. You can change the way that you view this into text if you want, so you can go to options and then textual view, so it's a text, or options both to view it in a manner of both the graphical and the text part. Now, an item that you find that these are generally 3D calibrations, you will find that there are some that are 4D, and you can tell the difference based on the parameters which it's got in the bracket. So you can see that table is based on RPM versus manifold pressure. If we scroll down a bit further, you can see the load multiplier is a 4D calibration, which is based on RPM, MAP1 and TPS. So under here you can see that the 4D aspect of it is done on the bottom axis here, so 10, 20, 30, 40 and their positions of the throttle position. If you want to jump between those, then you need to press the page up button and page down. That's really useful to know when wanting to change those. Other maps that are like that are the cylinder corrections on the S8, etc., and on the S7. Okay, hopefully that's helpful in order to help you get around the different calibrations and understand them more.